Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video we're going to explain rotate tool. Now before explaining rotate tool, let's say why we need rotate tool. Let's say we have an example like this. I'm asking you to do this polygon for me. This polygon is inscribed in circle and the radius of the circle is 20. It's 20. The radius of the circle is 20. I mean from the center to the corner will be 20. Now if I try this one to do this one, I will never get it. I mean if I try this one with polygon, I will never get it. Let's see. I will draw a circle. I mean just beside this one here, circle T, to make sure that I'm gonna make it correct. Sorry. Repeat again. We have 20. Now trying to draw a polygon which is 5-sided, and the center is center of the circle, and it's inscribed in circle, which is the radius of the circle 20. Wow. You realize that the polygon will come by itself in a way that it's not something like this. So how would I bring it to the condition I have it here? Try with any way that you're doing it, you will not get this one here. So this is, we can use a rotate tool to get to this object easily. I mean wherever this rotation is, we can get it from the original one to this object after rotation. Now this is the main idea for rotate. Now sometimes the objects before rotation, it's much easier to draw than to use rotate command to get to the shape. Now what do I mean by this one? Let's bring an object for you. Let's say we have this is a line. Yes, this is a rectangle. It's a rectangle. Now you'll be able to do this one with line. You have the angle and you have the line. For example, starting from this coordinate, drawing a line with angle 30, then you have to come to this point here with the angle here, how much it will be. If this is again, this will be 30, then the angle here will be 100, basically 20. You will draw this one, then you will come here. Okay, you need this angle to draw it, but why would I bother myself to do this one then to finish the line with using angles that much? Why would I bother myself in this? Why? Because we can use a rotate command by thinking that yes, this was a rectangle here, this was a rectangle here, and drawing this rectangle is much easier than the rotated one. But we will draw the rectangle, then we'll say okay, we rotate it by 30 degrees and we'll bring it to this condition. We have it here. So this imagination I needed from you to think an object, visualize it. Okay, this has been rotated. I mean, sometimes you can think of this way. You will see an object and will say okay, I can draw it like this, then rotate it to bring it to that condition. So this is the way that we use rotate. There is another method for it, another reason for using rotate. We're gonna talk about them. So remember, rotate, it's basically, there's two reasons to use rotate. One, to bring an object to the way that it is. Second one, sometimes it's to make your drawings easier. You can draw shapes, then you can rotate it to the final condition rather than directly drawing the final condition using angles, whatever you're trying to do. You can do it because you're an engineer and you know everything in order to do it. But the imagination here is something important, to imagine the shape before and after rotation. So let's talk about rotation to see what do we have in the rotation. Now in the rotate command we have two options. Move rotate, we have it. Copy rotate, we have it. You already know what does move means. It means that the object will no longer remain at its original location. Copy means that you will paste it. So this basically will be copy paste the rotate one. Copy and paste the rotate the paste one. Sorry, rotate the paste one. But this one is move rotate. So it means that the object will no longer remain at its original location. You will understand both of them when we explain with an example. So the first we'll talk about just rotate, then we'll copy, rotate, explain. So the rotation again need a base point. Now I'm sure that most of you played with the spinner. Now when you're putting in your finger and just trying to spin it, yes? Now the place that you're holding it, it's the center of rotation basically. The way that the object is rotating about that point. You know, I'm sure that you've seen whether even if you haven't used it, you've seen it with someone that using the spinner. It's basically we have with there's 3. So this is the place that you will hold it, and simply this is gonna rotate. Around the point that you have it. Yes, so the point that you're holding it is the base point. It is the point that, look, that's gonna remain at the same location, which is between your finger. I need you to have this imagination when you're using rotate in AutoCAD. The base point here, it's the place that you're holding the object and you're rotating the rest of the body around that point. So if you hold that spinner in between your finger, the place that you're holding it remain at its location. The rest of the body will rotate about that point. This is the definition for base point in rotate. Remember we said base point for move, it's the point that you're moving it. Base point for copy is the same thing. Base point for rotate, it is a point that you're holding the object with that point and it will try to rotate about that point. Let me just show it to you to be much clear before going into detail. Let's say that I have a rectangle. Just to show you what does that base point will look like, because we have other things that we have to explain. Let's say I have this one and I'm activating. Let's say if I click this one, you realize that, look, I am rotating about that point. That is the base point, which remains at the same location. I'm repeating again, base point for rotate, it is a point that will remain at the same point, or it will keep the distance of the rest of the object constant to that point. Can I select a point out of the body? Yes, I can select somewhere here, but look, it is going to rotate about this. It will keep this distance constant. The distance from the object to that point will be constant. That's the base point. It can be anywhere, but that point will remain constant distance with the object. It can be on the object, it can be away from the object. Now I can even select, for example, let's say that if I have the geometrical center, I can even select, for example, center of this one. You will realize that the center will remain the same location. I'm just rotating about its center. So the base point for rotate command, it is a point that will remain at the same location after rotation. So it can be something like this. Imagine that the dash line is after rotation. For polygon, it can be the center of the polygon, so it keeps rotating about the center. It can be out of the object, so it will rotate in this manner. Now, beside base point, rotation need what? Angle. It's not like just move and copy. We need distance to move them or copy them. For rotate, we need angle to rotate, and the angle that we needed in AutoCAD, which is in positive. So we have two direction. Yes, we have counterclockwise and we have clockwise. You can use both of them, but counterclockwise angles are positive, clockwise angles are negative. So if you want to try to rotate an object with clockwise angle, you will use negative. If you want to use counterclockwise angle, you have to input the angle as positive sign. It's possible to do it with any of them. Well, how will we find the angle of rotation. Now this is also important. How do we find angle of rotation? Angle of rotation need a bit imagination. As I told you that you will imagine the object before and after movement. After rotation. Before and after rotation. Well, if you can imagine the object before rotation, since you have the object already after rotation, yes? Let's see, what do I mean? Let's see, this is, we know it after rotation, yes? If I can imagine the object before rotation, well, there's two ways I can imagine it, yes? I can imagine the object like this before rotation, isn't it? I can just draw it like this. Or I can imagine in a different way. Let's use different color. I can imagine the object before rotation was something like this. Both of them true, by the way. Both of them true. But what is the difference between them? One of them, the green one or the red one, will be rotated in this manner. However, the green one will be rotated in this manner. And both of them will lead you at for the same result. There's only one of them will be clockwise, one of them will be counterclockwise. But both are true. It's up to you. Even there's other ways can be done. Other ways can be done. Those two are the easiest one. Those two are the easiest one. So let me explain in this case how will we find the let's say the base point and the angle, because there's two things we needed: where to choose as a base point and which angle we need for rotation. Now, the definition for base point of rotation, we said it's a point that will remain constant after rotation. Now, for as the base point, the best point to be choose as a base point, it's this coordinate point. Why? Because we need this coordinate to remain at the same location. So we're going to use this coordinate to draw whether the red rectangle or the green rectangle. Since we use this coordinate, and after rotation we want this to remain at the same location, so this is the base point. This will be the base point for us, because we want that point to remain at the same location. And we're going to use this point, the 10, to draw this red rectangle or the green rectangle. And we want that one to remain at the same location, so that will be our base point. Our base point, it's easy to spot. It's easy to spot. We're going to solve many more examples, then you'll be able to see the base point easily. Or while you'll be practicing by yourself, you realize that which point is supposed to be base point. Now, come back to the angle. Now, in order to find the angle, you have to visualize, or you have to take same part of the object before and after. What do I mean by that one? Let's use a different color. Let's say this part of the object, this is after rotation, and this is before rotation. I can choose a part of the drawing before and after rotation, or I can even use a point. No need to be just a part. It can also be a point. Also, I can imagine that this point, it was here before, it will come here after rotation. Now I need to know how much this line will rotate, the angle. So now you will realize that which of the cases it's easier to imagine. Let's talk about let's say for the green one, I can take this part for the green one. Let's say, okay, this line will come here, That's what we think, yes? Because we said that in order to find the angle of rotation, you need to imagine one part of the object before and after. Remember, this is before and this is after. So I took this part of the object before and after. Look at the angle between them. I directly have it, yes? It's very easy from the green one to go to the final rather than using the red one to come. The red one, basically, because this is the same as this line, yes, we need this angle, which basically will be, if you calculate it here, this will be, it's 30, this is 60, and this angle will be 60. So I can use, with the red one I need 60 degree to rotate it, with the green one I need 30 degree to rotate it. The rotation with the green one will be counterclockwise, which is a positive angle. If I use the red one to come back here, we need, because it's clockwise rotation, we need a negative, we have to use negative 60 or minus 60. I'm going to do it in both way. To realize how we will do. So we will draw two rectangle, 30, 15 by 30, 15 by 30 rectangle. Then we will do the rotation in both directions. So let's have a rectangle. I'm going to use one of the methods of rectangle. Since we have a coordinate, I'm not going to click anywhere on the screen. I cannot click anywhere on the screen since I have a coordinate, and the coordinate is what? 10, 10. So I have to start with 10, 10. I cannot click or write 10, comma 10, hit enter. It will go to that point. We can use two methods here. We said that any methods, dimension, I can go with it. Dimension, the length is 30 and the width is 15. Then we make sure that it will be somewhere here. We click here. That is the rectangle I have. But this coordinate is 10, 10, and this is 30 by 15. I could draw this one in a different direction. Yes, I could draw this one in a way that to be somewhere here. Let's say from here I can draw it to be somewhere like this. Even like this I can draw it. For example, like this I can draw it same. We'll do it in both directions. Let's say first the green one. This is the green one. I draw it here. So imagine we drew this one. Now look, we drew this one, which is 30 by 15. Then we're going to rotate it to this one. We say the rotation is what? We have counterclockwise, which is positive angle, and the angle of rotation will be 30. Why? How do we know it? Because this line, it's before and after will come here. So we need the angle between them. Well, go to AutoCAD. Again, there's two, the same way that we use it for copy and move, the same way. Let's use the first one. If you click on rotate, it will ask you select objects. If you see this term select objects in any command in AutoCAD, after selection you have to press enter. It follows by enter in order to go for the next step. So I have to press enter in order to go for the next step. Why? Because I activated the object before selection. We said if you don't want this procedure, you don't want to select and enter, first select the object, then select the command. Now directly will ask me what? Specify base point. You can read it on the screen. It's a specify base point. Now the base point for me will be this point. Why? Because we want this one to remain at the same location. So I'll click on this one, and if you start moving, you will see the object will move. And if you realize that the object before movement will be shaded. Why? Because it's move rotate, we call it move rotate. The rectangle will no longer remain as this way, because it will be rotated but as a move. It's no longer, you will no longer see the original rectangle, which is like this. You no longer see it. That's why we said that we have two options. We called move rotate and copy rotate. This one is move rotate. By default, the option in rotate is move rotate. Now we'll ask me specify rotation angle, because after specifying the base point, it will ask me specify rotation angle. Since it's counterclockwise and another angle, it's 30. I'll just type 30 and hit enter. It will get to the object which was here. Now look, the original shape is no longer there, because it is, we said that by default it's move rotate. It's move rotate. Well, I could get to the same drawing if I had a rectangle, for example, somewhere like this. Let's go this now with dimension. I'm gonna go 15, 30. If you understand what do I mean, you know why did I use 15, 30. Now I'm gonna bring this one this one to the one that we have it there. Now this is, now by the way, what did it's a bit different than the one I explained it in the, this is the 1010, this is the 1010. So what did I do? I drew the rectangle in this manner. I didn't draw it in this way, I drew it in this way. It's also possible, yes, also possible. But let's see, the problem we have it here, it will be way different than I explained before. Why? Someone, I mean, if I take this line, I will never be able to get to this one. So if I do this one, I will never be able to get to this one. Why? We will see it now. If I try to rotate in any direction, in any way, I will not be able to get it. I just need you to think of this point here. Look at here. The 1010 for the green one, it's which corner? It's this corner, yes? Look at the green one. But for the blue one, it will change to this one. So you realize that this drawing here will not be a good choice. We can still manage it. We have other things I can show it to you, but for now it's not a good choice. Why? Because this corner before move is different than the corner after move, because this corner will be somewhere here. So for me, this will be very hard if I don't know other options to use it. So when we draw the rectangle, we will prefer to draw it in a way that to go to, we still will start with the 1010, but we'll prefer to go to this point. Why? Because we want this point, this corner, to be the same corner after movement. That is, when we're talking about base point, is important. I know this is a bit difficult here, so let me just delete what I draw it, but I need you to have in your mind, when you're trying to draw, you have to picture it in a way that the location for the base point is very important. It must be the same point that you needed when you rotate to remain the same location. Yeah, I drew this one, but it's not a good choice, to do. So let's go back to AutoCAD. So what we need a rectangle. So I'm gonna move this rectangle, this rectangle from this point to this point. So as I drew it in this direction. Now look, this is the 1010, this is the 1010, so it's good for me because it will remain at the same location. So we're gonna select the object, then we'll click on the rotate. Now I can simply say this is the base point. Look, because I can see it, it will come like this. It will remain at the same. Now it will ask me specify a rotation angle. We have to type minus 60 because we're rotating in a clockwise direction, so minus 60. I'll get to the same shape that I drew with the previous method. Rotate, it's the angle of rotation a bit confusing. The basement somehow it's easy to guess, but the angle of rotation is a bit confusing for students of how to get it. But I need you to practice, and I need your imagination. Remember, the idea of engineering drawing is to have imagination of how to solve those problems, not just to do them in AutoCAD. So imagine the shape before and after, you'll be able to do it. Try practicing, you'll get to the point of how to find the angle of rotation, especially when you have a polygon. You need to look at the points, for example this point, and before and after, where did it go? For example, this point, it was somewhere here, then it will come to a point somewhere here, so you get the angles, how to find the angle of rotation. This was the first option of rotate. By default it's move rotate. The next video we're going to explain why do we need copy rotate and where to think of copy rotate option, which will be the next video's session. I think this one, it's available in how many methods? The 2 methods or just one? Let's see. It's one method available there. You can do with the other methods in order to understand better. So in the next one we'll discuss about copy rotate to see how we think of copy or rotate with copy command together. Thanks for watching.